Maybe you're just like me. You've seen those super clean Apple style animations all over social media and thought, how do they make it look so smooth? Today I'm going to show you exactly how to make this smooth Apple UI taskbar animation. And the best part, we're doing it in under 10 minutes, right in After Effects. I'll walk you through every step from designing to animating. And by the way, if you want more tutorials like this, I have tons more tutorials on my course Editversity, first link in the description. But that said, let's jump in. To start, I'm gonna use the shape tool and draw a box where all the icons will be in. I then center the anchor point and center the box in the middle of the screen, and then change the roundness to my liking. And now I'm gonna use the shape tool again and draw smaller boxes inside of that box. I then centered the anchor point again and centered it in the middle of the screen. I then changed the roundness of the square and duplicated the square 4 times and placed them evenly in the rectangle. I then made the UI box a little bit bigger and adjusted it till it looks good. I then imported all the icons and placed them on the right spots. I adjusted them one by one and placed them on the right spot. For the final icon, I used one of the previous icons and used it as a mask. I then organized the timeline so that the icons are with their corresponding squares. And then I pre-composed each icon with its corresponding square. I then linked all the icons to the grey UI box and centered the grey box in the middle of the screen. I then drew circles under every icon box and separated them equally. I then linked the circles to the grey UI box as well. I then made a scale animation by adding a keyframe at the start and the end and changing the scale of the first keyframe to be smaller. I then selected the keyframes, pressed F9 to change the graphs and made it smoother. I then moved the second keyframe a bit back so the animation is a bit longer and smoother. I then made a position keyframe for the middle icon. I then keyframed the position so that the icon moves up and down. And then I duplicated the keyframe so that the animation loops. I then adjusted all the keyframes at once by holding Alt and then moving it. I then imported the mouse cursor, and by the way, you can get all the assets I used and the project file in the link in the description. I then keyframed the position of the cursor so that it moves in from the left to the right. I then adjusted the curve of the animation by using a pen tool, and once again made the keyframe smooth. I then keyframed the rotation of the cursor. And then adjusted the curve of the animation again a bit. I then adjusted the final position of the cursor just so it looks a bit better. And now I'm gonna add a few effects to the animation. First, I'm gonna add a light sweep to the UI box. And then I keyframe the position of the light sweep so it moves from one side to the other. I then adjusted the time of the timeline, and the final animation will be then 2 seconds. I then pre-comped everything and added a deep glow to it and changed some of the settings. And just like that, we're done. I hope you learned something from this video, and if you want more in-depth tutorials, you can head to the first link in the description to join my program Editversity.